seriously, not all anime is all blood and tits and ass and stuff. We have things like...
I don't care.
But we got things like Legend of Galactic Heroes, Serial Experiments Lane, Hive on a Red
I still don't care.
Alright, D12. Get ready.
One part of I don't care, don't you understand?
Drink!
One moment, please.
Hey! Hey, get back here, you cowardly pile of scrap! Why do you... Oh, Spag. Listen here, Hagan. You've been causing me too much trouble all these years, and I'm sick and tired of it. You need to be stopped.
Way too much trouble. Whenever I've shown you 400 more films over a course of 7 or 8 years, then you can complain about such things. You're much worse than you imagine, hardcore child.
Oh, you better be careful, because I'm a master at martial arts. You don't say. Yeah, and then I did a takedown on her, and I laid that insane clown monstrosity right out. Really? Because, from what I heard... Oh, yes. Expert skills indeed. Congratulations, Daniel-san. By the way, after you got knocked out, some fat bloke wearing a mask showed up, dragged you to your chair, and taped the DVD to your forehead. What the fuck? The hell is this? Maybe it's another request. False graph. For the love of fuck! Just like old times, eh, kid? Get the hell out of my room! Okay. Cue the theme music. Back in 2010, one of my arch nemesis, Diamanda Hagan, forced me and 2 of my fellow Roboteers to make a review of Ralph Bakshi's Fritz the Cat, based on the comic strip by Robert Crumb. This movie is known for being the very first X-rated animated film. The review was a catastrophic failure. My comrades had absolutely no experience reviewing and just spent the entire time acting disgusted by the film's content, and I, still new to the whole reviewerverse thing, and still very green, was just as equally appalled. Also, a word of advice, never film a review inside a museum. Still, people will defend it and call the film smart for its use of political satire, race relations, the hippie movements, and all that other groovy stuff that happened in the 60s. But, of course, the movie is now universally renowned for its use of anthropomorphic characters having sex and getting high, including the most disturbing scene of them all, where Fritz is screwing a 300-pound black woman. Fat asses! That's what really distracted me when I did that review all those years ago. I was focusing too much on the sex scenes rather than the actual formula of the film. But now, I'm battle-hardened, I've seen a lot of movies worse than this, and if I were to compare this movie to, say, Where the Dead Go to Die, this is actually tame. Now, right before I wrote the script for this review, I watched the original again to see what I could truly make out of it. But I still don't really like it. You can throw in as much political and liberal satire and offensive mumbo-jumbo all you want. I just have not been a big political guy, and if you can't produce a movie with a well-constructed story and likable characters, you're going to run into a few problems. Suffice to say, the character of Fritz is portrayed as a hypocritical, self-imposed asshole in a world filled with angry and wacky stoners, hippies, and rebels, bent on causing chaos and getting into orgies without giving us any reason to care. In fact, there was only one character in this movie I did like, and that was Duke, because he actually seemed like the voice of reason. And he was a pretty cool cat, or crow. So what does the movie do? Kills him off and has the film completely go off the rails at the end. Assholes. And if you thought I was the only one who didn't like this movie, well, even the creator, Robert Crumb, detested it because he felt the sex scenes were too repressed and Fritz was too out of character. Angered and embarrassed by the project, Crumb would later have his Fritz character killed off in the comic strip and demanded that the studio never make a movie based around his characters again. So guess what? 3 years later, they made another one! Okay, so neither Bakshi nor the studio had any involvement with this movie. Instead, it's made by animator Rob Taylor, whose best contribution is a storyboard artist to various Disney and Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And if you thought that Fritz the Cat had little to no story, then never fear, because the 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat has 9 different stories. Yes, this is another anthology film, so we get to see more of Fritz's retarded antics in 9 different scenarios. Fucking A. However, this movie is actually rated R, so it's a bit more toned down compared to the original, which isn't really saying that much. It's still chock full of racist jokes, sex jokes, rape jokes, nudity, jury duty, blackmail, jury duty, and some Asian guy named Homer. This is the 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat. Roll the footage. The movie begins several years after the events of the first movie. Fritz, once again voiced by Skip Hinant, has a family and is living in a shitty apartment back in New York City. The days of rebelling against society, banging bitches, and discovering the truth, honor, and the American way, all gone. Now he's stuck jobless, lazy, and constantly getting high, and at his sides are a horny infant child and a fat skanky wife who, by the way, is not Winston from the first film. Hell, it isn't even Winston number 2. So as Fritz's wife continues to irate and bitch at him, he tokes himself into a drug trip. We then see Fritz's soul leave his body and start dancing and rocking down the streets. And thus, Fritz begins his wacky and disjointed journey of political incorrectness, and it starts off with... Well, if you want to start off small, ripping ass is the best option. So we're introduced to Fritz's Puerto Rican friend, Juan, voiced by Peter Leeds. Fritz wants to cash in a welfare check, but Juan is rather turned off by Fritz's antics.
Piss off, dude. That's your problem. You ain't got the guts to admit when you're in the wrong. You know that? You just pass gas. PRs are hypersensitive, you know? I thought you and me were friends. Yeah, a little wig out on my religion now, huh? PR, huh? Nice. Hey, about your sister, Juan. Does she have big tits? Hey, pendado chingala, I wish you people would learn to speak English. Christ knows we were here first. It's the only way I'm going to talk to a man who has habits like a pig.
The conversation, if you could actually understand what they're saying amongst the shitty audio quality, eventually boils down into Fritz wanting to pork Juan's sister, Cheetah. So Juan takes Fritz to his apartment for sexy time. At the same time, 2 black crows are outside looking to rob the place, and that's pretty much all they do.
Now put on our best clothes so we can walk in this neighborhood, so we can get in one of these White Houses to rip off one of them $400 televisions, one of them $300 watches, one of them Panasonic, Renasonic, Extosonic, Plastoplastic stereos.
Now I see why they changed the name to Mitsubishi. So Fritz tokes up on cannabis and then offers it to Cheetah. All it takes is several forced puffs from Fritz to send this Puerto Rican twisting and twirling out of control straight into La La Land.
Dayman!
Dayman?
Fighter of the night, man! Champion of the... Sun! You're a master of karate! And friendship for everyone! A Dayman, that's it! Dayman! Oh! Fighter of the night, man! Oh! Champion of the sun! Oh! You're a master of karate and friendship for everyone! Dayman!
And And of course the scene ends with Fritz date raping her while she's high. But at that moment, Big Baby Daddy comes home, and when he sees Fritz screwing his daughter, he gets pissed.
Gee, Pops, then maybe I should go get the papers, huh?
Papers? Well, you little son of a bitch.
What do you want, Pops? News of the time.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. He killed Fritz. He killed Fritz! Oh, I can't believe this! He killed Fritz! He killed Fritz! Oh yeah, that's right. This is the 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, which means this movie is still going to continue. Not a whole lot to say about this first segment. In a nutshell, it's just Fritz pimping out his friend's sister, 2 crows are there to rob the place but end up doing nothing, and Big Baby Daddy obliterates Fritz for accosting his daughter / sex object. One thing that bugs me is, what the hell kind of family consists of an anteater, a cat, and a pig? I guess Big Baby Daddy was a real player in his youth. Either that or he knocked up all the girls and then ate them.
He's fat!
So now we move on to Fritz's second life, where he meets some worn-out old bum, voiced by Wizard's Bob Holt. But this disgusting, broken, half-dead, drunk guy isn't just any old bum.
What'd you say? Something about work?
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. That's what kills a man. Starts out with an 8-hour day, 40 hours a week, and hell, boy, before you know it, you married some fine-ass woman and buying a house. Yeah. What the hell do you get for it, anyway?
Jeez, I don't know.
It's just money is all. It's evil. I tell you, it's evil.
Hey, by the way, what's your name?
Oh, I'm God.
Wow, man, that is heavy. You're really God, huh? No shit.
Well, of course he's God. In fact, we're all God. You see, God is the master and creator of all that is living. Everything that is living is a part of God. May sound insane, but it's true. Hey, you may speak the language of man, but I speak the language of God.
Well, anyway, I've been into some heavy gear in one of my lives. I got 9 of them, you know, pal. I got hung up with the weirdest dude one time you could ever imagine.
The blood pours down, the rain turns red. I don't believe that God is dead. So now you're probably wondering, what was the point of this scene? If Fritz lived out on his own, he would meet God who told him about money and jobs are evil and that it's better to live the free life out in the streets than suffering through work and commitments. Sound advice from an impotent fool, but here's a little nitpick. How exactly is this life different from what Fritz is living in his reality? All this was Fritz going to cash in a welfare check for his family, meets a guy who says he's God, and that's it. He doesn't die like in the first segment, so in the end, this segment just comes off as completely superfluous. Then again, a lot of segments in this movie are superfluous, including this next segment where we're blasted all the way back to World War II. Yeah, I guess they couldn't come up with any more issues from the 70s, so they opted to go right back to the 40s, where Fritz is a German soldier having a threesome with a Nazi's family. Well, at least he's in his natural element, friggin' communist feminazi jackass. A little while later, Fritz ends up becoming an orderly to, oh, hey, it's Uncle Adolf! Sieg Heil, Uncle! So, as an orderly, Fritz has to do several things, which include, getting naked, because, you see, in this universe, Uncle Adolf has a bit of a witty side to him.
I'm going to make a confession. Sometimes, you see, I would like to be a ballet dancer.
Really? No kidding.
I often see myself in the opera.
Oh, wow.
And the people are applauding.
Well, sure they would.
Springtime for Hitler and Germany. Rhineland's a fine land once more.
You know, not many people know this, but the Führer was an excellent exhibitionist and dancer. The entire second half of the segment is Fritz being Hitler's psychologist and trying to get him to stop raping people whenever they drop the soap in the bath. But in the end, Uncle Adolf can't control himself and tries to anal rape Fritz, only for Fritz to rip off his other ball. Poor Uncle Adolf. He only had one ball, and now he's got snowballs.
Well, it's just a question of balls.
Yeah, balls.
Balls.
Let me tell you, of course, there's balls. There's ball, you don't get a shit.
In the end, the U.S. Army shows up and Fritz ends up getting lead in the keister.
I got that Nazi rat bastard right between the crack in his ass. Now how do those sons of bitches expect to win a war when they're out of goddamn uniform, huh?
So what the fuck was the moral of this segment? Simple. The movie gives its viewers a bit of an inside story about how the Führer was a sexually confused one-balled nutsack who raped his fellow men in the shower and only started the Holocaust because all he wanted was a little bit of attention. Well, at least now we know how Shane Dawson got his fame. Heil Hydra. Fritz's fourth life takes us back to the 70s. Fritz is trying to sell a used Jimmy to this guy, Nicky.
And I bet I know who this was used on to, huh?
Well, okay, Nicky, you're wrong. Try to guess who.
Let's see now. With you filthy taste. Let's see. It must be a fat one, right?
Yeah, right. Go
And
on.
I'll just bet she's a sweat a lot. And she smell like a goat, huh? Right?
Right.
And she's got the bad breath and no teeth.
Yes. Go on. You're getting warmer.
And she's got the big, hairy, goddamn garlic mustache on the top lip.
You know
Hey,
what?
what's that
You know
anime,
what?
Fritz?
You know what? She's got the clap.
She's got the clap, 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 clap. She's got the clap.
Hey, tell me, what's this fat whore pig's name, huh? What's the broad's name?
Gina.
Hey, Fritz,
What?
that's my wife's name. Gina is my wife's name. She don't have the clap.
Oh.
No!
Well, she does now.
Hey, you buffalo! You fucking cat, I rip your bones off! Get the fuck out of my shop! Fuck off! You fucking cat! I kill you! I fuck you in the ass!
You know, Nicky seems to be taking this news well. If Fritz told me he fucked my wife and gave her gonorrhea, I'd have him poisoned, shot, hanged, drawn, quartered, disemboweled, and turned into catnip. Hey, he still has 7 more lives. He's got to use them up somehow. Outside the liquor store, Fritz runs into a friend of his named Lenny.
Gets pretty fucking deadly sometimes. I mean, I heard it was better years ago, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you know, Lenny, things have always been a more or less up and down situation. I mean, this street wasn't always a shit house, let me tell you. And even as far back as the 30s, there were those who gave and those that took. You know, when I was back in the 30s, I was one very sharp continental type stud.
The 30s? Fritz, you're 26 years old. You wouldn't know a thing or two about the 30s even if you saw Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Then again, knowing Fritz, he would have probably thought Jefferson Smith was a shoe store. Now, to be perfectly honest, Fritz's fifth life is actually pretty cool. With the use of rotoscoping, a technique that this series is familiar with, we see Fritz in a fancy suit dancing in front of stock footage of old movie clips from the 30s. This song is actually pretty catchy. Give it a listen.
When you're speaking in the last tense, and the things you say make no sense to any other man or son but you. And when the past is ever present, and your prospects ain't too pleasant, there's only one thing left for you to do. You got to jump back when your soul is out to riot. Do the jump back. You don't have to justify it. Get yourself on back on that righteous track. Do the jump back. Oh, try it.
It's a really trippy and bizarre segment, but it's actually a lot of fun. The main problem I have with it, it's too long, and the bright lights and crazy shapes get kind of redundant. It's filler, but it's at least good filler that can keep you satisfied for at least 3 or 4 minutes. Check it out. The next segment is also filler, but not the good kind. And why is that? Oh, it's not that it's offensive or racist or homophobic. No. It's an exact copy and paste of Fritz's fourth life. Yeah, remember how in his fourth life Fritz was trying to sell a condom to cash his welfare check? Well, here, he's trying to sell a toilet to pay off his check. Despite a few alterations, it's still the same damn segment. Was there really no other subject matter in the early 70s these guys couldn't have covered? I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of subjects they could have covered, like the 1973 oil crisis or the Vietnam War. I mean, cashing a welfare check? All that represents is how much of a lazy bastard Fritz is. And did I mention he's supposed to be our hero? The metaphorical hamster that powers my brain has officially given up. I'm taking a break. See you guys in a bit.